Hello everyone. I am Mark Utter and I type to communicate. Oh, I know it is odd for me to be embarking on having a talk show, but it seems like an opportunity I shouldn't miss. Here is some background information about me. I have been someone profoundly affected by not being able to communicate. I always wanted to be part of what was going on around me but got no avenues of access aside from what people made up for me. People say I resemble Charlie Chaplin, and in the focusing on my rote gestures, this is an apt association. I am happy to declare that I followed Chaplin's big footsteps in another way, and that was to use my developing skills in supported typing to write, direct and star in my own movie. It shows me in the ways I don't fit into daily life unless I am able to access my mind and share its content by painstakingly typing my thoughts. It's called I Am In Here, a view of my daily life with intelligent suggestions for improvement from my intelligent mind. After the process of producing that film, I experienced a greater sense of participation in my life. Today I will interview Paul Schnabel, the fine actor who plays my intelligent mind.
I am what Mark is really thinking. Before Mark had access to supported typing, I just hung out in his head, keeping myself entertained. When Mark encounters a communication obstacle, I will be Summit. People are never sure about me until I type.
Yes.
Hi Paul, welcome to the first episode of The Uttering Mind. I am so delighted to be here with you and one of my communication partners, Emily Anderson. I want to start off with asking you to recapture the evolution of you knowing me, from Emily sharing my screenplay with you till now.
Thanks for having me today, Mark. Your inaugural episode of your talk show. I'm really honored to be your first guest. All right. Well, Emily, how many years ago was that you brought me this project?
I would think it was probably 3 or 4.
Right.
I think we were sitting at August 1st.
That's right. I remember now. Okay. Emily brought me the script. She told me on the phone that she really wanted me to read the script and sort of gave me a brief synopsis of what it was about. And I was so curious because it sounded so unlike anything I had ever been involved in before or even read about before. So, I read a lot of scripts, Mark, and I gotta say that I was so delightfully surprised by your script because not only was it, I thought really well done, but it was completely eye-opening and profound for me to realize what this journey was for you. And so I immediately said to Emily that I thought it was a really extraordinary project and I wanted to be involved, and I felt great about it. I felt great about doing the movie, and it's been great to get to know you. Thanks for having me in the movie.
Thanks, Paul. Oh, let's hear about the first time we met.
It was at the movie theater.
That's what I thought it was. Okay. Well, that was our first day of filming, and that was actually before the film was completely ready to go, right? I mean, we were just doing the trailer for it at that point.
The promotional.
So I had read the script, and I really didn't know what to expect, but that was a really fun day. We had a bunch of different people there who were extras who were working with you.
Take your mic.
So that was a great day. I really enjoyed it, and I think the footage turned out really good.
I I love the moment where we are standing with our arms crossed and talk back to the teens.
I like that too, like when we do this number and you're in front of me and I'm behind you. That's great. I don't remember whose idea that was, but
Probably Jim's.
probably Jim's.
Yeah.
Maybe. Connect. Maybe connect me in my words to my mentor Shakespeare.
Huh. I didn't know he was your mentor. Have you read much Shakespeare? No.
He's watched a lot of movies, so he can regurgitate is not the right word, but he can reproduce Shakespeare's some of his famous speeches.
Well, you know, in a way, some of the way Mark writes, sometimes because it's coming from you, Mark, and because of your history and the way you have been with your communication and this recent development of your communication, sometimes the way you write things is very different than the way it's expressed normally. And I find it really poetic and beautiful. And I think that for me, that was one of the challenges of doing your movie, was finding a way to be true to the way you wrote and to make it real at the same time. And so in that way, yeah, I think there's a lot of poetry in how you write, and that's a good connection with you and the bard.
Yeah.
What's your favorite Shakespeare play or movie that you've seen?
Hamlet.
Good one. Good one.
Hamlet.
Hamlet.
Let's. Here.
Oh, really?
Some. Let's hear some Paul.
Ah, wow. Why do you think I know Hamlet out of the back of my pocket? Okay, I can give you one line. What a piece of work is a man. Or to be or not to be.
Is that the one where there's the speech with the skull?
That's Yorick. Alas, poor Yorick.
And what is that from?
That's from Hamlet.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. In the graveyard.
You can't do that one?
No. I've never done Hamlet, so I'm too old to play Hamlet. That's over for me. I'll never get it.
Macbeth.
Really?
Macbeth then.
I've never played Macbeth, but really? That's what you want me to do? A piece of that? All right, I'll give you a very short piece, okay? Oh, Mark, if you insist. He's here in double trust. First, as I am his kinsman and his subject, strong both against the deed. Then as his host, who should against his executioner shut the door, not bear the knife myself. Besides, this Duncan hath borne his faculties so meek, hath been so clear in his great office, that angels will plead like angels troubled tongue against the deep damnation of his taking off. Okay, that's as far as I'm going to go.
That was a character you play. Did you play that at? Did I see you at the Royal Tyler?
No, I played the porter.
He was very funny, right?
Yes,
Okay,
yes. He's
that
the
was
only
not,
comic relief in the whole play.
Okay,
the whole play is
you
dark.
did it.
Yeah.
You did it. Wait, who was this?
This was Macbeth.
Oh, this was
Yeah,
Macbeth
trying
himself.
to. He's going to meet with Lady Macbeth, and she wants him to kill the king.
Oh, right.
And he's not. He's having doubts.
Right.
Boom, 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 boom. The Bard. But let's talk about the Bard. The Bard Mark. Mark Bard.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, I am totally ready to ask a big question, my friend.
Boom. Give it. I'm ready to answer the question. I hope. Is this going to be hardball?
Tell us what? Tell us what your big wish for the work you do in this building is.
Ah. Yes, thanks for asking that, Mark. So we're in Channel 17 here in the old north end of Burlington, the corner of Archibald and North Winooski Avenue. And I do, in fact, run a theater downstairs, a small little black box theater called the Off Center for the Dramatic Arts. And that is an independent little space where people can experiment and perform, and I'm really proud of it. And my big plans for it are just to keep it going. We have a lot of interesting programming coming in there this year, and we're trying to get together a season of new work from area artists, so we'll be promoting that. And it's just part of a mission to make more theater in Burlington and theater more accessible and available to people and artists. So it's really a great thing, and I was glad that you came down there and did something. That was awesome. It was really cool. Did that answer? What was that? Okay.
I think that I think that is awesome and wish you the best, and I also think I want to do something there again.
Whoa, I love that idea. Yeah? Do you want to act?
Oh. I think it will be. Oh, I think it will be another evening of Letters with Freddie.
Oh, that's great. Jernigan? That's awesome. That's great. That's a great idea. That's a great idea.
Okay. Ready. Okay, ready for another big one.
Shoot. Give it to me, Mark.
Tell us about. Tell us about your cell tower dispute, please.
Thank you, Mark, for asking that. Yeah, there's some cell phone antennas going up, or they were planning to put them up right across the street from me in a new building that just went up. I didn't know about it. And when I found them, all of a sudden, the mock-up for them, all of a sudden on the top of the building one morning, it really worried me a lot, because I've done some research and I feel like there's not been enough done about the long-term potential health hazards of being exposed to that kind of low-level electromagnetic radiation. So I tried to do everything I could to see if I could do anything about it, and I'm not really sure where it's at right now. I have to call the Public Service Board. I know the city thought that the cell towers looked awful, and so that they said on that basis they wouldn't put them up. But unfortunately, because the industry was deregulated in the 90s, I'm sorry if this is too much information, but because it was deregulated in the 90s, part of that deregulation was that municipalities have really no or very little say on where these towers can go and the antenna can go. So they can sort of go up anywhere. And there's just not been enough research on the long-term health hazards of exposure from these things, I believe, and I'm not the only one. The last thing I'll say about it is that the International Order of Firefighters has decided to forbid any kind of cell towers or antennas on roofs of their buildings because they felt that there hadn't been enough research done, and because firefighters living beneath those towers started to experience some health issues.
Oh, wow.
So the largest union of firefighters in North America has come out saying that. Also, the World Health Organization has reclassified this kind of radiation as potentially a human carcinogen. I've spent so much time fixing up my house and thinking I was going to retire there, and then to see those things out there one day, it made me upset. So we'll see what happens.
Good.
Slow down.
Work. Good work. I hope they go away and stay away, as I do not think they are good either.
Glad you agree. Yeah, thanks, Mark. Thank you. Can I go back and answer part of the first question a little bit more? When you asked me about first meeting you, the evolution of our friendship. There's something that, the thing that really struck me about you, Mark, and your story was how completely unexpected it was for me. You know, I think that I'm a person who's got an open mind, who walks around the world with his eyes open, but then to meet you and realize that, you know, you just sort of represented something about the world to me, that there's so many things that go on that we don't know. And here to meet you and to find you have this whole interior world that nobody could, you know, that you couldn't get out until Emily and Pascal came along and all this happened. It was a real eye-opening thing for me and very inspirational. And I think that's what attracted me to the project so much and really wanted to, and it's kind of stuck with me too. It's a sort of a lesson that I learned that moment, you know? It's just, things aren't the way they appear on the surface. So that's a great gift that I think you give to a lot of people.
Yes. What? You. See. Is. Not. What? You. Get. Yes, what you see is not what you get with me, and I think that is true of many others, and not just folks with disabilities like mine, but also really normal seeming folks.
I totally agree. I totally agree. And I think that, meeting you was, you're like a filter or something that kind of opened up that to me in that moment. And then it's stuck with me across all things, I mean, it was sort of just like this little window. You kind of opened this little window. And it's not that I hadn't thought about it before, but it's about perceptions. And we go around making these assumptions and perceptions about what we see every day. But the truth is, we don't know so much. And our perceptions can really limit what we see. And when I met you, it was such an eye-opening experience to meet you and to realize what you had been through in your journey. And not only did it globalize me across to other people, but to situations too. It sort of applies to everything. It's just sort of this acknowledgement and recognition that I have to be open to things. I can't preconceive, and we do that to make our lives easier as we go through in our busy lives, but if you do it too much, you miss out on a lot. And so that's what was amazing about meeting you and being part of this project.
Oh. Paul. It is awesome to hear your experience and how it shifted your mind, as that is one of my goals. Paul, it is awesome to hear your experience and how it shifted your mind, as that is one of my goals in life.
Nice. Thank you, Mark. And it's more than in just that way. I mean, one of the other things I enjoy about hanging out with you and communicating with you is that time changes. You get into the Mark zone, and it's frustrating in some ways, Mark, and I'm sure you experience it with people who were eager for you to get your typing or trying to jump in and finish your sentences for you. And I've felt some of that sometimes, but the truth of the matter is, when I let go of it and just get into the Mark zone, something happens. It changes everything, and it's very, it's just it's a shift in the way things get communicated, and I don't know how to explain it, but I enjoy it. It makes me feel good. It's so different than the way we normally communicate in the world. Yeah.
Sorry.
I do want to I do want to become more fluent, and yet I am aware of the benefits you finally described.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think you should feel too pressured. I mean, there's probably a time when having more fluency would be helpful for you, just because some people are going to lock you out because it's too hard for them to sit there and pay attention for even a brief period of time. So in those cases it might be, but this is all part of it. And also the way you write, it's part of it too. You don't write like anybody else. You're very unique, and I think it's beautiful. So I don't think you should worry about being too much like the rest of us. We don't hear enough from you. And we hear enough from each other, our points of view.
Oh. Yes. Oh yes, I know you were on track in noting how over chatty folks can be.
Oh, yeah. I bet there's times when you wish you could be just as chatty. Yeah?
I love
I gotta fix that.
gossip. I love gossip and could add some prime material.
Maybe not here on TV. But I want to hear it sometime.
Oh. Oh, any last words for today, my friend?
I just want to thank you for having me today. You're the best. Thanks for having me today. I'm the first guest on your show. I really appreciate that. Do you guys know who you're going to have next? Do you have a guest for the next?
I want Emily to ask Brian Merrill, and of course Russ Bennett would be great.
Nice. Nice. Maybe Jernigan, too.
Oh. I love that idea. Oh, I love that idea and we'll run with it.
Yeah.
Are you ready for your final words?
Nice.
Oh, sorry. She doesn't have them. It's this one right here.
I am so delighted you have watched an episode of The Uttering Mind. I'll be back with another guest as awesome as Paul Schnabel. I leave you with these words. On we go, finding each other in this maze of humanity. A step at a time. Travel with a smile. Thank you, Paul, and the wonderful CCTV.
Boom.